I think we might have to pose that question to everybody.
I'm not weeb enough. I feel like there's some like Dakimakura style name or something. I don't know.
I don't even know what that is. So
I'm gonna look it up, make sure I didn't like say some weird sex thing.
hey people, get at us with the name for what anime body pillows. Is there a name for that?
You should show yours off just so,
Yeah.
people
So
know.
we have here with us today Haruhi, and this is the top half, and I will show you only the top half because that's the PG half of the pillow. It's just it's just a lot of ass on the other side, so we'll just leave that.
I got it right. Dakimakura.
Okay.
Don't look that up.
What
Yikes.
does that refer to?
It's a body pillow.
Okay.
With an anime something on it. They are for whatever gender or creature you would like, according to the top page of Google. Hey, we're doing a
welcome
podcast.
To this week's podcast. That was a really good cold open that we just did there. I liked it. Very good. So moving forward, this week's podcast will be brought to you by Rhubarb and also anti-racism.
That fits nicely with mine because this week's podcast is also brought to you by racism and institutional racism.
It felt kind of weird throwing the rhubarb in there, so I'm just going to get that out of the way real quick so we can dedicate the rest of this podcast to clearly more important topics. But I made rhubarb simple syrup, and this is my drink.
That's exciting.
It's very visually nice because it sinks to the bottom, and then you get to like stir it up. So I'm going to do that.
Is it appropriately tart? Is it tart enough?
It's actually not as tart as I was wanting it to be. It turned out pretty sweet, but it still has a good like rhubarb flavor to it.
Okay. I might get some lemon juice when I go to the store, and then that could work with it.
I may have put too much ice in this cup, and now it's just like holding a... What is the thing with beans in it that shakes?
A maraca?
Yep, that's it.
Any number of shakers?
Any number of shakers.
I have a hot drink today. It's
Very
got
nice.
A nice thin cut of grapefruit coiled up in there. It's got like a grapefruit syrup, and then it's probably about that much sake or so, and it's hot, and I haven't tried it yet.
Give that a slurp. How is it?
It's good. The coffee plus the grapefruit and sake hot is, I would say, severely acidic, which I anticipate a very water-heavy evening tonight after this.
Yeah, most of my drink is water because it is kind of still in the middle of the day, so
yeah.
But it is a mixture of gin, and I threw some white wine in there because I don't know, we'll see.
I've done gin and wine. Those work.
Yeah, it's all right. The gin that we have, I probably could have gotten one to go better with the syrup. This one is very like juniper-y, so it's pretty strong. Kind of overpowers the other flavors, but
okay,
still good.
You need to get some Brennivin, then you can overpower everything with it.
Yeah, that's what I need. For more than one reason.
Honestly, we all need Brennivin at the moment.
Uh-huh.
So, how's your week been?
Pretty, like, very emotional. It's been a pretty emotional week for everybody,
Yep.
obviously. Have you been out to any of the protests or engaged in any of that? Or have you just been staying home?
Yeah, my options for getting to protest right now are a bus system, uh, which is unfortunate. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to support people who are able to do it. I went down and checked into the supposed protest that's supposed to be in Kirkland, which I don't think is a real protest. I don't think it was actually a scheduled anything, and also nothing's happening. Uh,
Yeah.
Supposedly at 1 p.m. today, as of like 9 this morning, Kirkland representatives told people that um, they should like board up their businesses because the riots are coming, essentially. And um, then they also put up a thing from the police chief here that was like, hey, we all take 20 hours a year to learn how to de-escalate, so it's not our fault.
Oh, good
Uh,
job.
and then there was another post. It was 3 posts. The third one was directed towards citizens instead of businesses. Uh, and it was basically just saying, because the one that got put out on Twitter that was being spread around was saying like, hey, maybe it's not a curfew, just maybe stay out of downtown Kirkland today, and like here's why. And then the other one was to citizens, and it was like in the second paragraph, it states that they're declaring it a state of emergency, but don't worry, it's just so that proper defensive actions can be taken. And just after 1 o'clock, it's not a curfew. We're not going to curfew anybody. Just we strongly suggest everybody not go into Kirkland or leave their homes or do anything. Which
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's a weird way to message it, especially having it separated into two messages. One of them from like a representative that got put out on Twitter a lot more, I guess. This is a pretty recent thing, so I don't have a lot of information on it. Just what's on the Kirkland website and how the information got to me in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But it really looks like they are trying to prep businesses to like board up, which they're doing. But also, we're recording now, and it's 3:15, like Pacific. Um, they told
On the
everybody,
first.
yeah, on June 1st. They told everybody to not go outside, and that there were suspected scheduled actions for then. And then the other post said, actually, those actions are supposed to be at 2. But again, there was no reference to what they were talking about other than like, we've heard rumors that at 2 things are going to happen here. I was out there from like 2:20 to 2:45 or so. And the only things that I saw, and if you want to put the picture up when we put the podcast up, you can zoom in a little. Check through those pictures because you'll see what I was also seeing through Kirkland. And I did walk around a little more than this picture I took, but there's enough police around to where taking pictures is a little bit, I don't know. Getting weird looks from people is kind of the point, but when you're just one person and you're not sure who's supporting what, it gets a little dicey.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, no one was wearing masks that I saw like at all. I saw
Yeah.
one guy wearing a mask, and it was a guy jogging around town. And everybody in that picture, you might be able to find some with masks on, but everybody that I saw as I was walking past had nothing. They were all standing around very close to each other, talking about putting these boards up. If you look in that picture too, there are like trucks, and it makes it look like there's a lot of people, but there really aren't. and those trucks are just trucks full of boards that they're screwing in around all the windows. So I don't know. It feels very either cautious or a little bit put on. I don't really have strong opinions about it other than we don't need a reason to have more police in this area. If you know anything about Bellevue, Kirkland, and Redmond and the Seattle area, there's more than enough police.
Yeah.
There was a guy asleep under a tree that they thought was suspicious last year, and there were literally, it was 8 cop cars and what appeared to be 2 cops per car. So 16 cops, and they cordoned off half of our fairly good-sized park, and were just standing around talking to this guy under a tree. And that's the kind of police action we have here. It's relatively non-violent, but it's also relatively unneeded in this area. So, but there are people with nice houses up the hill from here and stuff, so there's going to be police because they have stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's how my pre-show went. I definitely have been hearing cop cars just kind of driving around a fair amount today, so that might be a fun additional part of our audio.
Mm-hmm.
And there is what appears to be a informal hang sesh going on at City Hall when I walked past, of just cops literally sitting on benches, like they're sitting around a campfire hanging out. And
Cool.
I don't know. It didn't feel super comfortable. It felt like they were very relaxed, and me being within a block of them made them unrelaxed. So if that's the vibe I'm getting, I'm not really feeling the whole we need like 100 police here. Also the state of emergency thing so that National Guard can show up because they're in town as well. That's not really something I feel is necessary. If they burn down the entirety of Kirkland, I might say, let's bring in somebody to guard this in a situation of like attack, but we're not. It's a situation of protest. So I don't know.
Yeah, like that makes more sense if you're a Minneapolis right now, like when where things are actually getting burned down. But I haven't seen that as much in like Seattle and Kirkland.
I did see one maskless chud white guy, probably about my age, but he had an aluminum bat. That is the only person I saw there with anything, and they were clearly there to guard their store, I guess. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but that was the only person I saw that was like, I would rather they were not here right now.
Yeah.
I would rather most of the people in Kirkland were not here, if I'm being honest, but that's a personal opinion. Is your town pretty normal? I assume you guys are probably just like usual.
Yeah. So I was in Coeur d'Alene earlier this weekend, or this week, and yeah, it's pretty normal up there. I'm hearing some like weird, I guess we'll get to that later on. There's a couple of like peaceful protests being organized. I don't think any of them have happened in Coeur d'Alene yet. There were some yesterday in Spokane. And from the video that I've seen, they did have some like tear gas and rubber bullets being used there.
That seems to be the response to people being present currently.
Yeah. So. I mean, all of the videos I saw were like, it was very clear where the people were and where the cops were, because they had like a line kind of going on with their full gear and shit. And the people were all very, very far away, but they're still shooting at them from like hundreds of feet away. So I don't...
That's what we call de-escalation.
Uh-huh.
It's fine. They do
Yeah.
upwards of 20 hours a year on it, so they're
Oh,
experts.
good. I feel so safe about that now. I mean, of course you have uh the jackasses who are just out there to like start shit. So there are people out there who are like throwing fireworks at the cops. That's gonna
Hmm.
happen. Um, but for the most part, everything that I saw was very like peaceful, with the exception of them getting shot at and tear gassed. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I think the first bit of news that came out on anything that was not very milquetoast news of the Seattle issues, uh, the Seattle troubles, was a cop macing a girl in her young teens. So
Yeah.
that's a good kickoff. I bet she wasn't very threatening, if I had to guess. Uh,
Yeah. I would probably guess not. I don't know if you saw, I think maybe I saw this on something you shared, but I saw that cops in Seattle were hiding their badge numbers
mhm.
so they can't be held accountable for things later on. Uh,
Yeah, I I can't speak to like how official that is, but I've heard of that being pretty regular practice for, you
mhm.
know, uh, cops basically having their impenetrable wall of legal deniability. Like, what are they going to do about a covered badge? Have another cop tell them that they're under arrest or some shit? Like, it doesn't do anything. Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, turning off cameras, but cops do that like most of the time they're working anyway. Uh,
Mhm.
and if they do keep them on, it's not like the cop themselves will hand it to you. So that's really, I don't know. I think that as of a few years ago, body cams were definitely something that was like, maybe this can fix some of the way our cops act, but it clearly did not help very much. So
Yeah. Not
I'm
with the
not.
amount of autonomy they're given to
Well,
fuck with them. So,
uh-huh. Uh so what we're, I guess, 5 days into all of the uh I mean, there are a lot of victims, but just for a like point of reference, the post Floyd protest is about 5 days in so far.
mhm.
Um, Seattle's been a shit show. I guess I kind of expected that. Our police force, like most police forces, has always been kind of, I don't know. They're less aggressive than some other police forces, but that's not saying a lot. Uh, I'm more concerned about the people who are strongly siding with zero change and the cops being like everybody's hero during this. That's maybe the thing that is the most like dismaying. I'm
Mhm.
not super surprised about the National Guard thing. I know that that is a uh, I'm glad that that is something people are concerned about, but that isn't part of it that really surprises me. That seems like if the president is going to do something that the president can do, that's exactly what would happen. Um, the fact that the National Guard apparently shows up and is under the like direction of the police force is something I didn't think was how it worked.
Is
Um,
that how it works?
yeah, so in the stuff talking about the stuff, I guess uh, for other people's consideration, I read this online in what was appearing to be the city of Seattle's like official thing, or the King County,
Hmm.
Washington, was that the National Guard was being brought in as like an emergency measure, and that they would be working with and under the like directions of the Seattle police. So I don't honestly know how that line of like command would work anyway, if we're being honest. So that was just surprising when I read that, because it was from what I know as an official source. It is a city website or a county website. But I don't know.
I did not know that was how that would go. That seems odd.
Yeah. I do think it's, I don't know. There's a lot of people getting angry at people who are posting about stuff having to do with like, I don't know, here's your rights and stuff like that, but not actively outside. I think that unfortunately a lot of the people who are willing to protest are not always able to. I know that in my circle of friends, there's been a large amount of guilt over the fact that like there's not a ton of protesting that we can do, whether it's because of like personal disability, or in my case, the one that looked like it was going to happen seems to not exist. I
mean, not to mention the fact that you're all living in kind of the epicenter of the pandemic.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
For the States, yeah.
I am not super willing to put the people that associate with me at home and the people that I'm going to probably next week have to associate with at work and our customers, now that our phasing has been adjusted in Washington so that phase 1 isn't going to end yet, which I expected, but they altered it a little bit this week so that phase 1 can include getting stuff from businesses inside. It just has to be quick, because if it's quick, you won't get it, I guess. So my respect for doing what's best for the people from this state is quickly dwindling, even though we were up towards the top at the start. So withholding money from people entirely and then having a very expensive police force probably doesn't help the states. But I bet they're not going to have all the police furloughed so that they can afford to, I don't know, keep people on unemployment, which if you're like me, you're not able to get, I guess.
God. Yeah, that's probably one of the things that's frustrated me the most about watching all of this unfold, is the very obvious, expensive, almost very immediate response to all of this from like local governments and enforcing a curfew in a lot of places. Like something that probably would have been helpful once we were on kind of the beginning of COVID happening, but somehow we like couldn't get that done earlier, but now it's really important.
Well, I'll be honest, it's only a day as of currently, but most of the places that serve food in Kirkland are doing it still in a safe capacity. And that seems like the best thing for them to be doing right now. The idea of like making them all board up and get out is actually probably more detrimental to them than doing this. Like, I'm all for the idea of paying people to not be putting themselves in harm's way, but these businesses aren't going to get paid to go home early for a day. Like, this isn't going to adjust anybody's unemployment. And it's not going to make up for the fact that these PPP loans are going to end. So they're basically just putting extra hardship on these places for, I guess, the fear that if they're open, people are going to bust in and take their food. Like, there's really not much that is at stake with these companies. I don't know how much they want to be, like, closed. I can't speak for them, obviously, but I don't know. Like, most of the representation of non-white people in this area is restaurant-based. There is very little here that is not restaurants and cutting them off from doing business for a day at least is probably not a good idea for any of them. But that's just my opinion. I'm not an economist. Also, I'm very I don't know, our Sesame Street word of the day is frustrated, obviously, but the action being taken to, I don't know, protect people seems an awful lot like it's action to keep people from speaking up at all, as opposed to just setting up something that could also be just as easy. Like, if they really want people to keep safe, they could just, like, move the whole police presence to the side of everything. They don't really need to, like, make this what it is, but I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. From all of the people that I have followed who have been to different protests, all of their accounts are that things were fine, the protests were fine until the police showed up and started instigating shit.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to believe that, and also not to mention the fact there's also, like I said, jackasses who just will show up. Like there was one video of some guy walking around in like a Joker costume, just kind of living out his weird riot fantasies or whatever the fuck that is. But
it's like people who probably would be Proud Boys or something, but instead they're just sort of too antisocial to even do cosplay. That. Yeah. Unfortunately, anybody who does anything negative anywhere right now is just being called either Black Lives Matter or Antifa.
Yeah.
The amount of, like, excited talking after Antifa was mentioned as, like, oh, they're terrorists now from the president. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's the most antithetical, like, that's the opposite of what this is about. Like, if we have, I forget, they might have been removed, but at least for a long time, juggalos were also considered terrorists, and they are also, by and large, supporting like the furry community and people like that who are incredibly, like, unicorn riot centric, like not at all into, like, anything other than keeping, like, these weird right-wing groups from coming in and doing exactly the, like, let's just smash stuff and make it look like it's people who want rights for people, and now we can say that they're, like, terrible. Like, it's very frustrating. Anyway, my notes are pretty dumb because they were almost all written under some form of duress this week. Anyone? I don't know. Oh, so here's a thing that I did have to talk about that is more more of a topic than it is just talking about the world at large at the moment, I guess. So I was really annoyed like a week or so ago, and I sort of broke the seal on negatively responding to the calls for, like, Trump support, like all the banners and things that constantly go up on everything lately for, like, we're re-electing, so, like, get all of your awesome thoughts out to us and pay us money so that we're richer. First off, I just want to read this. I think this is the thing that pops up after you fill out the questionnaire. I'm going to read you the questionnaire. It's like 5 questions, and it's It is not that different from the questionnaire we read recently.
Is this the how do you think Donald Trump is doing questionnaire that I keep getting on
I believe
all
so,
of
yeah.
my everything? Okay.
So I'll show you the image first, because there's the image you
Oh
get
yeah.
when you fill out one of these. So it's got the Trump-Pence thing at the top, certified website of President Donald J. Trump. It's got just the shittiest face
Yep.
for the image they picked. It says in bolded letters, "Responses recorded," period. And then, thank you for taking the time. Jesus, it's already got bad grammar. Thank you for taking the time. Tell radical Democrats that the, all quotes, American people stand behind capitalized capitalism. And then President Trump is fighting the left and their, all capitals, radical socialist ideas every day, but he can't do it without your help. I find that unlikely. And then bolded, please make a contribution, all caps, immediately to support President Trump in telling the left we will, all capital, never be a socialist country, period. So that's what they're putting forward for their whole pitch on this. So did you do any of the Act Blue stuff, like donating to candidates or anything when Bernie was still in, or anything like that? There's there's like an interface that a lot of those have if you're doing it over phone. So that's the Act Blue interface. This is the Win Red interface, which I can only assume they set up afterwards. Most of those, like especially the Sanders contribution stuff, which was like, we need a lot of money. Those had the suggested donations of $2 and what was it, like 37 cents or whatever. And then it was like $5, $10, $15, $20, and like 50, maybe. I don't know if it went that high, but then it had other. So it was basically saying, like, I don't know, give us some money. There's a lot of people. Hopefully that'll add up. And it did. This contribution window has $42 as the lowest. And then 50, 100, 250, 500, 1,000, and $2,800 are their suggested donations. And it, unlike Act Blue, it has a already checked box at the bottom that says, make this a monthly recurring donation.
Of course.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money to ask for. If nothing else.
And then to sneakily be like, oh, this is a monthly thing.
Yeah. Come to fucking President Trump's OnlyFans and support him. So here's the questionnaire that you get if you actually follow this link. Question 1. Would you say you have an unfavorable or favorable view of socialism? And the options are favorable or unfavorable. Favorable is at the bottom because it's important that the first answer always be the right one.
Right.
Question 2. What type of country would you prefer the United States be? What 2 types of country do you think this would suggest?
I'm gonna guess the first one has to do with like God-fearing, nice, safe country.
Am
I close?
It's more pointed than that. So the first answer is a thriving capitalist country.
Okay.
And the second answer is a radical socialist country.
Oh, shit.
Question 3. Do you agree with President Trump that Democrats have become the party of, all capitals, open borders? And then it's a yes or no. Of course, yes is the first option on that one. The fourth question, would you be upset if, all capitals, your taxes were raised in order to pay for more welfare programs for illegal immigrants? Yes or no? I add the sixth question on this is optional, but it's additional thoughts. I asked them what they meant by illegal immigrants because, okay. And then I also said no. I think all of our money should go to illegal immigrants now. I'm into black supremacy now because that's what I guess Black Lives Matter means to them. Yes. Question 5, would you be upset if, all capitals, your taxes were raised in order to pay for socialist programs like the $92 trillion, all capitals, Green New Deal? You know that number that people said it would cost us extra? That's a complete lie because it's based on fucking national funding. Anyway, so $92 trillion. Are you okay with that? Do you love that?
I love that.
Also, I'm fine with it. I don't know what the fuck money is supposed to do for us when we're all dead. Anyway. Speaking as people who don't have a bunker, you and I. Anyway. That's the kind of questionnaire you get. But the second part of this whole process is... so it gives you the questionnaire. At least the questions aren't leading. They seem fine. And then it gives you the donation panel in which one of the suggested donations is $2,800 a month. I still had that body pillow page up. That's a lot. So now I'm going to go over, I don't know, like the amount of emails that I got at the... Let's just type in Trump into my email thing. So the other side of this is that in order for you to submit your like disinterest, which for anybody who is already upset about this, believe me, I know that there is absolutely no chance that anybody even gives a shit or looks at this ever. It was solely to see what this was, because it's frustrating seeing it pop up constantly. Like you were saying, it is ever present. Jesus Christ. Is this all from...
But you have to give them your email to submit it, correct?
Yeah. So it's optional. Wait, no, it isn't. Yes, it is optional to give them your phone number.
Okay.
But
because I think I remember. Okay, yeah, that's what I will remember. Because I think I've done this before.
Yeah.
But I didn't submit it because I didn't want them to have my email address.
Mm-hmm. It's a reasonable concern, honestly.
Although I very nearly did it for the one where you got to sign President Trump's birthday card recently.
Yeah.
I put some real nice words on that one. I almost submitted it. I got close, but I didn't. I did take a screenshot of what...
That's good.
Of my entry.
So let's just look at what time on Friday was this one? Okay, so I'll start at the start of Friday. So Friday at 9:30, I got a email called Trump Deadline Alert. You need to read this important information inside. So already it's like a fucking publishing clearinghouse. Apparently their end of month goal was $8 million. So that's reasonable. So this is the thing. This is an image. So sorry to the people that are not able to see this potentially in the future. They mock up a fake image of what it'll look like if you don't contribute. And so my name is in the middle in red. And it is a thing that says...
They put it on his like fake stationery.
It says supporter names, and it bolds yours in red, and it puts a 0 next to yours, and then the other people are donating 175, and then it has 0 for yours. So that's a cool.
But yours is in red to call attention to so Donald Trump personally can look at his list of supporters and be mad at the ones.
I love interacting with the public. So at 3:00 the next day, or the same day, I got, and this is still leading till like, this is after the like protests have started in more places. And it's another help us crush our May end of month goal. And at the beginning, it starts with, Jesse, you have been selected. You've been identified as one of President Trump's top supporters, all bolded. And we wanted to reach out to let you know about your exclusive offer. And the exclusive offer is that they'll pay match what I put in, which I don't know why that matters for this. Look at the thanks for the email grandma setup of this fucking email.
God.
They love bold. They love capital letters over at the Trump camp. And then later Friday, I got one. I'm just going to read what these say for the moment. Donald J. Trump is who it's from also. And it just says, let's double it. And then, let's see. Saturday, what time did this one? 8:15 a.m. on Saturday. I get this thing that looks like a fucking chain letter at the top. That says, it says my email in it. If anybody froze the frame and wants to send me an email, please do. And it says, one day left supporter, my email with a link attached. They linked my email to myself. That's an odd choice. May end of the month contribution, cool. All red, all capital, all bolded, missing. So, missing. Yeah. Also, it says, Jesse, I just reviewed the list of everyone who's donated. I find that unlikely. Then at 10:55 Saturday morning, I have once again been identified as one of Trump's top supporters.
Wow, I'm learning so much about you.
Right. In the now 6 in the evening, I get a Donald J. Trump email that says, Joe Biden, who? And then it says, he's becoming irrelevant. So the way that they start this off also is, did you hear the news? Sleepy Joe Biden's campaign announced their May end of month goal is to raise $6 million. Okay. So I guess asking for more money means you're better.
Also, I wonder if that's even true.
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about Joe Biden. That's the thing.
I
also wrote a thing on Joe Biden's Instagram that he will never read about how much of a fuck off he is. And, you know, who cares? But still. At an hour later, I have again been selected and identified as a top supporter.
Wow.
And then...
really moving on up in the ranks.
And then Sunday at 7 in the morning, I get a final day I'm counting on you, Jesse email. This is how this one starts. These are like ad copy written to trick people into getting like timeshares or something.
Yeah.
Jesse, next paragraph. I emailed you, period. Next paragraph. My sons, Don Jr. and Eric, both emailed you, period. Space, next paragraph. My campaign manager, Brad, emailed you. No period, but another paragraph. Newt Gingrich emailed you, period. Space,
why is this
paragraph.
A list of people?
Laura emailed you, period. Space, next paragraph. Trump finance team emailed you, period. Space, next paragraph. All italicized. And now, I'm emailing you again. And then it starts off.
Who is writing these?
It starts off with, each day my team has given me a list of Patriots who have stepped up to help us reach our critical end of May goal. And yours is all red. Still missing.
Oh my god.
Let's see.
Wow, I never have had this glimpse into the life of a Trump supporter before, but it feels like an abusive relationship.
Yeah. So this is literally an hour and a half later. This is DonaldJTrump.com. Sirens around it. Patriot
alert.
We need your help. And it says 12 hours are left. And it has a little graphic just showing money move upwards in this GIF. So that's cool.
Wow, that's impossible. Some real high-tech shit going on here.
And then... another hour and a half later, I get the same email header of all the separate paragraphs and the same, my team has given me a list of Patriots, but this one says, Donald J. Trump, I didn't see your name on the list as the header.
God.
This
He's
is
gonna,
only,
track you down and come to your house.
This is only 6 hours left. I get another new graphic of money moving upwards, but with higher totals. And then this is the one that I was like, I have to talk about these. The one with all the separate, spaced paragraphs of them yelling at me was my favorite. But this one I just like. So this is, I don't think that this is a coincidence, but it seems like it could be. So I get a Rashida Tlaib email Sunday at 4:29 p.m. And the header is, let's do this. We're up against a broken system that's trying to silence us. And then, what you would expect. And it's just writing about, what's happening at the moment. Granted, I'm more likely to take this seriously than somebody screaming at me about money. But this one's talking about, actual world events and collective action to make life better. So it speaks to me a little more. So that one came in.
It's not your name mocked up on a fake list of people.
That one came in at 4:29 p.m. yesterday. Yesterday at 4:53 p.m. I get another Trump one, but the Rashida one is let's do this. And then the Trump one is, we never do this, and we won't do it again. But then the body of the email is the exact same shit he's been sending me over and over. Also, that's the, grifter, byline for everything. The, Alex Jones saying, it's 80% off. We need your fucking money. That kind of shit. And then... I got a 3-hour alert. It's the same shit. It is a new graphic again that says 3 hours and has a different picture of him. And then I got a 1-hour alert. This time it has a black and white serious photo of him.
Oh, man.
I know. And then I got a Trump finance email that says offer expires in 60 minutes. Then it's gone forever. All capitals. This one, the only difference is that in huge letters, it says you have been selected at the top. So it's just full Publishers Clearinghouse at this point.
Man, I cannot get over the language of your donation is still missing.
Uh-huh. This morning at 9:45 a.m., I got an email that says, let's win again. But then the body is, Jesse, Why haven't you accepted our invitation to become an official 2020 Trump Life member?
Why not? Why have you not done it?
Also, so just to let people know what the body of this text is like, Trump Life members are going to be the lifeblood of my 2020 campaign, and I'm going to be leaning on this group to play a crucial role over the next few months. I'm counting on loyal supporters like you to be front line of defense against, God, the grammar is bad in these, the constant lies and attacks coming from Democrats and the fake news. I can't do it alone. We only have 600 spots left on the Life member roster, and we really want your name to be on it. So it's even doing the like, it's a limited time offer, it's a limited space offer. What are you waiting for? Did I get another one yet? Oh, I did. Oh, Jesus, this one has a good line. So as of 3 hours ago, I got another email that is Trump official Trump polling. Tell us the truth. Donald Trump is asking. And then that's just despite the nonstop lies from the Democrats and the fake news, the president is fighting for everyday patriots like you. And then some more stuff about Sleepy Joe. Have I got one in the last couple minutes? I did. At 3, I got one with clocks around it that says for 1 hour only from Trump Finance.
Wow.
Is it the same email? Yes, it is. You have been selected. So now I've given you an exhaustive and kind of boring, but I think it's pretty funny look at the horrible hellscape of emails from the Trump campaign. Can you imagine if I had given my phone number and got this many texts from them?
Oh, dear God.
Anyway, this is what you're supporting if you're supporting this police action shit. This, like, grifter asshole just trying to get money. We're still in a pandemic. It's not like this is something that's, like, just out of the blue, normal, everyday shit either. Like, this is not a time to be fundraising unless these are going specifically to people with a lot of money. Anyway.
I'm confused as to how there are still so many people like buying into that with that language being how it is. I guess it's just not all, but significantly I don't know, a lot of like older people who are probably more inclined to not be super bothered by that and to kind of buy into it. But even the older people I know would just be pissed off at that many emails in one day. So I don't even know how.
The best case scenario, I don't know if it's the best. Well, yeah, kind of. The best case is that it's them just playing the numbers of like debt collectors for people who have had debt collectors come after them. That is the same tactic they use. They'll send you the same shit over and over and over many times a day. When I was getting student loan calls like 5 times a day, and it was just hang-up lines and stuff where I would answer it and it'd just click off, or it would be an automated message saying like, if you don't want us to take all of your money for all time, you must respond. And then like that kind of shit, when it's like, it doesn't matter if you're up to date, they will just harass you constantly because there's no law to protect you. Like that's sort of the whole point of like regulating things, is that these kinds of actions against people are not okay. And the fact that even our president is doing that, like the Joe Biden emails I get after I told Joe Biden to fuck himself, are not nearly as bad. Like they're still stupid, but they're like, they're using the tactics of Democrats at least. So
yeah, these emails are very specifically similar to like scam emails and spam emails that will target older people who just like don't know any better. Like the mock-up of your name on a list is really fucking insidious. And
yeah, it may as well be a check with your name written on it. Like,
Yeah.
The
In the
shit
all the
out of
language of, oh, your donation is missing. Like, where is it? It
it. Yeah.
sounds like collections. That's really scary.
It's running double duty too of the like if you're an older person who didn't grow up with online banking, now you're in a spot where it's like, oh no, did they not get the, I guess, $2,800 or whatever that I sent to them already?
Oh no.
It must not have gone through. I'll just send it again to be safe. Like that kind of bullshit
Yeah,
is
no
clearly
worries.
what they're playing off of. The like, well, if somebody's going to send us $10, maybe they'll just send us 20 to be safe. Like that kind of shit. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think that that is probably the funniest thing we can look at the moment in terms of like modern culture, just because nothing is especially funny.
No.
um,
Nope.
but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people aren't going to put themselves in a situation if they agree with people like us where they're going to get those kinds of emails and things. So taking a look at it is probably worth it.
Yeah, it's interesting just to see that side of it because I never would have
Yeah.
if you didn't show it to me just now. So I guess Trump will just never know what I wrote on his birthday card, and that's just the world I have to live in.
Yeah, it's rough. So I think I get an SMS message from them. I think that I specifically said, "Do not send me text messages," but I think I might have gotten a message from them anyway. Yeah, I did totally.
Hmm.
Um, when I sent that in, I got a message from them saying, "Reply yes to join Trump and receive important messages. No purchase required," but then like, all of your general charges apply. But the other one says, "Reply yes to submit your response and receive recurring SMS MMS messages." So like, I don't know for sure that response went through even with all of the emails and shit being added onto my shit, because that makes it sound like you're required to like double like sign in to your like ability to send your response. So it's not
Hmm.
worth doing. Like they may have gotten my response, they may not have. The fact that they sent me multiple messages from different numbers stating that I just need to reply with a Y to start getting all of their like bullshit text messages.
Hot content.
You know, it'd probably just be text messages written as though they're from your grandma saying, "Help, I need money," and then like a link to the Trump site.
Yeah, probably something along those lines.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe how so blatantly griftery those emails are.
Uh-huh.
Well, if you didn't know, now you know, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Um, I do think that sort of getting back on the topic of just current events,
Yeah.
um, I do think that it's kind of fucking ridiculous how much everybody on the conservative side is all of a sudden concerned about like, well, it's going to spread the disease. These people can't be out here. It's going to get everybody sick. It's like, yeah, yes.
Yep.
It didn't
It's
matter
all
when.
it's almost as if all of this is very interconnected and it all kind of is a cycle of bullshit.
Yeah,
And the people who are out protesting right now are probably going to bear the brunt of all of it.
yeah. It's a problem now because they need to make people look bad who are wearing masks and are being pushed out into places where they are very close together. I don't think that makes it good to be that close. I don't think that we should have to be doing this in the first place. It's just that our country fucking sucks and has for like hundreds of years. But
Yeah.
the whole idea of people with guns showing up to state capitals, breaking into state capitals and just sort of like hanging out and literally spitting at reporters and stuff, that's fine. they're not going to talk about the dangers of that. But people show up to these things and they have masks on and they're not white, and all of a sudden it's a fucking problem. Like, the messaging seems really clear if you're not, let's say, a fucking mid-50s asshole white woman from outside of the city on my Facebook page or some shit. Because that seems to be the prime group of people who would really like everybody who's outside right now to be put in jail after they were in full support of people being outside without masks just like a week ago.
Yeah, so they could get haircuts again and go to their salons.
Yeah.
That's real important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just in my circle of people haven't thankfully experienced too much of the like fake concern over people contracting COVID.
Right.
The other thing I am seeing a lot of, though, is just the all lives matter bullshit is cropping up again. And it's...
Yeah.
I've had some conversations with family members in the last few days trying to explain why that's not preferred, why you shouldn't say that over Black Lives Matter. Those conversations are still in the works, but yeah. In case it wasn't clear, all lives matters. The phrase "all lives matter" was created to subvert Black Lives Matter and the meaning behind that movement. They're not like it's not like a separate idea. No one said all lives matters before Black Lives Matters happened.
Yeah.
So
it's
the
thing. Same kind of shitty tactics that people started using on the right when like feminism started picking up again in like the early thousands, where it was like, well, I mean, we want rights for women, and then their response was like, what? So men don't have rights anymore? Like, okay.
That's not... Nobody said that. Literally, no one ever implied. I mean, just the fact that you could hear the phrase Black Lives Matter and that somehow like kind of upsets you.
Yeah.
I feel like that sets off some warning signs. Like that's inherently not like, why would you even argue with the statement? That's why it's named that way. That's the purpose of that. Is like it's so fucking obvious and it's just a truth that...
Well, it's something you want other people to believe as opposed to current. Yeah.
Yep.
I just have a note on here that says, boy howdy, this country is fucking racist, huh? I that's not something I realized. That's just me venting, I think.
Yeah, boy howdy. Boy howdy.
Boy howdy.
It's real bad. I think sorry, one last thought on this.
No, I was actually going to ask you to keep talking so that it's not me yelling about shit the whole time.
Oh, well, I'm probably still going to be yelling, and I'm like getting halfway through my drink, so it's not going to be like nice, good yelling. It's just me being upset.
That's a matter of opinion.
I think one thing that people are starting to kind of finally understand, that hopefully is becoming more understood with all the protests happening, is that they're not... the protests, of course, are sparked by not his death alone, but the murder of George Floyd. But it's not... because I had to explain this to a family member a couple of times, but it's not all about just one guy, because there are riots, or not riots, like protests happening in other countries too. And my family member was like, I don't get why all these people are out here protesting the death of one dude. It's not about one guy.
Right.
He is one of the more recent examples of the problem, but
Emphasis on one of. There's been quite a
yes,
few lately.
it's been it's been real bad lately. Um, yeah, we kind of talked about him a few weeks ago, a couple of other examples, but I hope that people start to understand it's systemic. It's not like just one-off things that people are protesting. Like there's context to everything. I don't know why people like to just argue without context to thing like to things. For example, like the whole all lives matters, all lives. Why am I saying that so weird? All lives matter phrasing.
Yeah.
I'm getting drunk, sorry, but but like the context is very obvious to be it's subverting Black Lives Matter. Like that's very obvious that that's the context of the situation, but instead we like to take out the context and argue, no, we're just taking that phrase for face value and you're saying that nobody matters. Like I don't know. That's frustrating. But I hope it becomes more understood that it's not just a one-off thing. It's the way that our police departments work. It's the way that our economy works. It's the way that our government is run. It makes these things all a problem.
Yeah, well, if you want like a look at how like it just sounds like statistics if you're not paying attention to it, but these were literally like statistics on the news yesterday where they were just going over like how many Black people are in the country like counted for and how many people are contracting coronavirus right now, just as like a non-police action based statistic that is maybe something to think about. And it's the population of Black Americans is approximately 12%. So like sizable, but not nearly as sizable as white people. Um, Obviously, that's sort of a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of current COVID deaths are 25% Black Americans. Like, if you know how numbers work at all, that's pretty horrifying. And it's also taking into account the fact that, like, that is a significant number because if you look at the, like, jobs that people of color have, if you look, like, the ratios of jobs that people of color have, if you look at the things that they have to take care of themselves because of the way that money is distributed, if you look at all of the reasons stacked together, this whole epidemic is maybe like prior to any like full on videos of somebody being murdered that finally gets a few more people to fucking wake up about this stuff. The fact that people were just sort of ignoring the whole like, well, this is really impacting the Black community, like, and continue to when it comes to the COVID like epidemic. It's indicative of all of the ways that people of color are just completely held down in this country. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they are still doing more jobs that require them to be essential workers, like by population, many more. And those jobs are typically the ones that people consider beneath them if they are like thinking the way a lot of Americans think. Like, are people who have jobs long term at grocery stores or doing menial labor or things like that, do you look at them and think, oh, that's a good citizen? Sometimes, but like the general thought in like our capitalist system is those are just people who didn't try hard enough. And it's part
Yeah.
of that whole idea of like, if we just treat these people like they're too dumb and we call them thugs and we like look at all of this as just a product of, I don't know, their skull size or whatever the fuck people want to talk about, then we can just ignore it because it's just the natural way of things. And that there should be no better evidence of that than the fact that throughout this whole thing, that's what's happening. Like, it's kind of hard to get away from 12% of the population taking on the brunt of 25% of the deaths of this epidemic. Also, this was a stat on CNN, but apparently Black Americans who get COVID are 2 to 4 times more likely to die from it because of the way that we consider them and their health. So, like, it's just how we treat, like, people who aren't white here, period. Like, it sucks. And it isn't, like, just here, but with stats like this, we should be able to fucking point to something when people ask us why, like, this unrest towards the police and why the government isn't really striking any chords with people who want a progressive anything. Or just these damn millennials. Like, that should be a better talking point is, hey, maybe everything's fucked and you don't care about it because you're old and stupid. Like, maybe that's a better talking point than just, why are you so uppity all of a sudden? Anyway, it's not really a useful rant. I just have a lot of those in me lately.
I really don't have anything, unfortunately, useful to bring to the table for these episodes, other than I'm just upset, and yeah, it's been interesting to work in, like, marketing right now.
Oh yeah.
Boy, is that just a study in self-loathing. I don't want to do it at all right now, obviously. So it's just, yeah, it feels interesting to see how different brands are addressing this. It to me is interesting that some of these, I'm getting emails from skincare and, like, hair brands that feel the need to make a statement, and it's like, shut up. The only, I don't know, we're kind of grappling with this where I work too and trying to figure out how to approach it, because we're based out of Dallas, and so there's some stuff going on down there too. But personally, I feel like unless your company is donating some money to a place, or directing people to donate somewhere, or giving them something actionable to do, don't fucking post about this. I mean, it seems just so, like, virtue signaling and disingenuous to be like, oh, we have your back, hashtag Black Lives Matter, and then, like, nothing else. Just, that doesn't really help anyone. Like, give them money, please, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I don't get that approach. So
that reminded me, one of those emails is from Lyft, from this morning.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And their wording of it was, to our Black community members, we recognize your pain and feelings of fatigue, which is just such a, like, cool, thanks for standing up, Lyft.
Yeah, like, we got your back. We're a team. Like, no, you're fucking not. I just, yeah, I think there's actually, going around Instagram, I don't know if this is link in bio or whatever it is, but there's one, like, bio card that people are using that links to a bunch of, like, good places to put your money right now. So I'll try and find that and put that up on our profile
that would be good.
We do this.
I was trying to, so I mean, it works out great for me, not really intentionally, since everything is closed here. Now I feel like, oh, I really did that at the right time. I basically, because everything is fucked with money, I get food delivered, especially since the COVID stuff, after we do these.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like a piece of money that I save from my budgeting each week, specifically so I can do that. And this week, and until things settle down, my plan was to give that money, because I'm already budgeting for it, just to whatever like charity I thought would work best.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I found that seemed like the best like local option was the Black Lives Matter Freedom Fund.
Yep.
It I'm not great at researching charities because it's always so difficult to know like if there's a better option or not. Like I'm not gonna look up every single board member of a charity and like make sure they're like good people or something, like maybe I would do with people who are shittier because I have brain problems, I guess. But it looked like a good way to just blanket try and help protect people who are going to be fucked over during this.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to add something to the safety of like protesters who are, let's say, a skin color the cops don't particularly care for. And I would look into like Black Lives Matter freedom funds. I think that those exist in a lot of different places, but I'm sure there are plenty of other options. My initial want was to try and guilt people I know into also donating. So I was going to set up a like a Facebook thing, because I know you can set up charity things on there. They
Mm-hmm.
don't really include any like people of color nonprofit stuff in their options.
No, they don't. I noticed that too when I went
Yeah.
to post something earlier.
I'm not saying that that's like a conspiracy. I'm just saying that that's really frustrating, especially now, because that would be the easy way to like get people to be like, oh, I can add $5 to this, but instead. And so did you happen to see the comments I got on linking that particular request?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. That's maybe the most frustrating comments I've gotten on something online yet. Uh,
Uh, this
anyway,
was about the looting, right?
yeah.
The person mentioned. Okay. Um, do you have anything to say about that whole
Um,
thing?
I'll reiterate that a lot of people seem to not like the idea of, I guess, just caring for other people in general. To be fair, this is also the same person who a week or so ago acted like I was the dumbest person on earth because I thought unions were a positive influence on the world. And yeah. But surprisingly racist opinions coming from just some person in Washington State who clearly does not care about people if they happen to be not like them. And I wanted to, my response, my responses, which I wanted to, again, my point in responding to people who are assholes, especially unprovoked assholes, is always just to point out why I'm doing what I'm doing, not to point out how they're an asshole, because that's the like really ineffective way to respond to people in life in general. But it's definitely testing my writing skills
You do a very good job. I always see things like that, those comments, and I want to contribute, but I always decide against it because I'm like, I know I'm not going to say this well. Yeah. It's not going to go well.
It's rarely, if ever, worth it. But if it's showing up on my shit, I don't want it to just sit there and be like, you know,
yeah,
uncontested, I guess. I'm just also upset that it's my fairly meager presence online is slowly attracting more and more people like this as opposed to fewer. I personally don't mind. It doesn't actually stress me out to deal with people who are assholes. It makes me feel a little bit like uplifted in a way, just because there is a certain amount of like getting those opinions from people makes it clearer what people who would at least talk about equality and stuff are actually thinking. And then I don't have to like wonder, why the fuck are people against all of these actions? Because I can see them write it down. Like the union stuff where they're talking about how, well, union members make so much money. And it's like, oh, I should look into that. And then it's, no, they don't. Like, people who are literally overseeing the entirety of union activities make like, what? It was a 6-digit amount, but it was the top person in all union stuff was making like 300,000, and almost everybody else was topping out at 50,000. That's like less than my roommate makes, and those are people who are like district heads. And then the people who work in a position that is where I would probably be able to get to make about like 5 to 10,000 a year more than I do, and I know that's not good living. Like, that's not anything. Those people aren't rich. The idea of the union people being rich is kind of gross. Like, also learning that the union boss name, like using the term union boss, is something that conservatives started doing to try and make them sound like they're part of a mafia. But and there's a place called like Union Facts online that is way, like, it's always the first thing that pops up if you're looking for unions. I looked more into that website, and that is a conservative run fact-checking website, which does state things, but in a very like pick and choose kind of way. And that the reason why that ended up being something that I looked into was because that's where all of the like facts were coming from on how overpaid they are. They just kind of leave off all the people that make less money, so that you're looking at like what people think is one union leader is actually a
the
union
top person.
like a person whose job is essentially like an well, that's the other thing, is they are elected officials, and they treat them like they're a mob boss, but it's like they hold elections for these people regularly. They're not going to be there soon. Like, this isn't I don't know. It's very stupid. Anyway, that's I was going to say that's off topic, but we're always off topic.
Yeah, but also kind of hilarious for someone to get mad at the idea of someone making a lot of money and having that be like their issue, as, oh, they're corrupt because they make money. Right. Whereas
and what they're defending, well, I mean, I'm gonna put up a thing for monthly donations of $2,800, and maybe that'll help fund us. I'm sure that would be both of our salaries completely covered per month anyway. So like, let's just throw that in.
That.
If we can get funded that much money, we can both retire permanently. So it's fine. But yeah, the union thing was a response to essentially just talking about how unions are helpful. And the first response off of that was talking about how companies are actually the people who are worthwhile, and stating that people who own businesses are in fact better than their employees. That's why they own businesses. So this, just to say, this person obviously has issues. And then the amount of anti-vax stuff that is popping up is depressing, but also, like, I guess not surprising.
Expected. Yeah.
Now's their time to shine. Some of those people being people that I do care about and have lost all of my respect for their ability to think like a grown human being at this point. But, you know, that's fine. You don't have to respect people to care about them. You just have to not be an asshole. It's how racists could still be a part of society.
Mm-hmm.
And cops, fuck cops, but they should be part of society. Just, you know, calm the fuck down. And by part of society, I mean fired and just part of society. I bet cops
agree.
are fantastic at laying bricks. That would be great for them.
Mm-hmm.
Or demolition. There's a lot of angry people. They could break stuff all day and get paid for it.
There you go. Could do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess there was one other thing I wanted to say about the whole all these people getting up in arms over like the looting that's happening. First of all, generally speaking, the people who are looting are not the people who have like organized the protests.
Yeah.
Because the protests are starting out peacefully and then other things are happening after the fact. By other things, I mean cops are becoming violent and inciting violence, and then other shitty people are showing up.
And like mystery man with the umbrella and the full like chemical gear on, just walking by and smashing a bunch of windows and then trying to walk away real quick.
Yeah, people like that, and then also I guess we're just not going to talk about the fact that there are people driving semi-trucks and trailers into crowds, which is straight up just terrorism. That's just what that is.
Yeah, but all the stories were about how well, I mean, the truck did stop and then they beat him up. And it's like, yeah, they did. They just tried to kill them.
Yeah.
How is that not self-defense? Like, you talk about people getting shot and killed trying to, like, come onto people's property, and that's fine. But somebody tries to run you over in a car, and they're fine, by the way. The reports also mention, yeah, they're in fine condition. They're not in critical. They're not in major, like, pain. They're fine. They just got, like, shaken because people were pissed. Like...
Yeah.
And there's just full video of that shit.
Yeah, completely. I also, I guess one other thing I would say is because there is so much video circulating of like lots of different altercations and people getting like beat up and stuff, I don't know, just make sure that what you're sharing, just be careful, because a lot of the videos that I'm seeing are like, you'll see a 30-second clip and then a video, like a minute will be released, and that completely changes the context of the situation. Like there was one guy in Dallas that was waving, first the narrative was he's a business owner protecting his business with a sword or something like that.
Yeah, with a machete. Yeah.
With a machete. So it's like, oh no, he's just standing outside his establishment with the sword. It's fine. And then this group of hoodlums comes and rains upon him and like stomps him. And it looked like he was dead, but I don't know if he actually died.
So,
and then the full video came out.
Do you remember who filmed this? Because, or not who filmed it, but who was talking about it? Because it was a right-wing guy who released the partial video before.
Yeah, I don't know who saw or who released the clipped video. I just saw the clipped video like a day ago, and then maybe this morning saw the full clip that someone was like circulating to say, hey, this is actually what happened.
Mm-hmm.
The guy just basically rushed a crowd of people with a machete, trying to do whatever, hurt them, I guess, obviously. Uh, so, uh, yeah, that's completely justified. You're a fucking idiot if you're one of these dudes running into crowds of protesters with a weapon, assuming you're just gonna come out totally unscathed, which is probably the I've seen a couple of different videos of white dudes doing this crazy shit where like there's that guy with the machete, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
also another video of this older guy with a hunting bow pointing it at crowds of people, and I have never seen a more like delusioned example of just you have been so privileged and so like protected your whole life that you really think you can just run into this crowd of people and pull that shit and you're not gonna like fucking die. Like,
Yeah.
there's consequences.
Look, it's fine. Not only am I white, but I have played at least 200 hours of Total War Rome.
Oh
So
my
I
god.
think I know how to use this.
Literally, this guy in his 50s standing outside of his like fucking van or whatever with the hunting bow pointing at people thinking you're not gonna get you're like nothing bad is gonna happen. I
Yeah.
just idiot.
Um, I wanted to make sure I sent you a link. It's
Yeah.
it seems pretty
Okay.
good. It's the BuzzFeed hoax uh, list. It's not all inclusive, but that might be a good thing for people to look up. Currently, BuzzFeed has just a like a pretty constantly updated list of like fake pictures and stuff like that that are going around, and like things that are unproven. They do mention like the umbrella creep who was smashing out windows.
Yeah.
Like they mention that kind of stuff too, where like there are of course like theories of who that is, but um, like it's not solved. Like people don't know who it is yet, and there's
Yeah, they
speculation.
label that as unverified.
Right. So I think that's important that people also know that just because you've heard it from people who are left leaning and you trust that they would tell you things that are useful, it's not verified. And if they're responsible, they're also telling you that at those venues. So, like, that list is good and probably good for people to have access to. Uh, I'm sure there are
Yeah.
other lists like that, but I don't have infinite time to be on the internet, especially if I want to like sleep at night. And I don't like this last week. This is definitely a oh poor you complaint, but I have I've had to dip back into meditation quite a bit because my entire torso and shoulders are trying to like crush into the middle of my body all day because of
Oh, fun.
just general stress. Uh,
hmm
I I have like an allergy to weed, and if I didn't, I would love to be high as fuck right now, but that's not a thing I can do. Um, so I've just been low dosing ibuprofen and trying to meditate, and I think it's helping. This is honestly helping, but I cannot just spend my week drinking. Um, so I mean, I could, but I don't. I don't want to deal with the lifestyle that becomes later.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a very again, very poor poor me, not
Yeah.
really dealing with any shit right now. But it just even like psychically, it's been a lot
hmm
week. So yeah.
It could be better, I would say.
I would say. I would
Um,
say that.
I don't know. I I do think that more people making good suggestions of how to help is always good. I appreciate the people like myself to some degree trying to post helpful stuff for people. I'm trying to follow that as an example, and I'm trying to I'm working on art projects to try and help in some way with people who are dealing with this stuff, but honestly it's really difficult because I'm not Black, and it's not an issue that I have the same kind of knowledge on. I am in fact white, and extremely white, so that changes my perspective a bit. And then I also am not. I'm not against it, but I'm not super enthusiastic about the people who decide to expel a bunch of energy, also posting about how people who aren't involved should just shut up, because it's still probably better to have a lot of people talking about this, but I do agree that we need to try and do the best things possible. So the people I want to point out, and the people that you should probably look for, are people like Unicorn Riot and stuff like that, who have real actionable advice of how you can help. Black Lives Matter gets a really bad rap because people are racist. Look up their websites. They have good options of things to do. That is the kind of route I had to take, is trying to follow their advice, because I don't know what the fuck to do other than yell into a camera and my mom will see it. I don't think she's one I have to convince, but
yeah, I've seen I guess if you are considering going to a protest or something, obviously wear face coverings, in any protection that you can. I don't know how much social distancing is even possible, but if you can. But for specifically white people, one thing that I've seen be really helpful is people physically putting themselves between the cops and people of color and Black people. So there's that. You could do that. I think even just being there and helping to hold the space is good.
And don't be an asshole, I think, is maybe a big part of my advice also. If you're going to be there, the people are almost exclusively going to take photos of you if you're white, because white people are the narrative that people want to stick to. So most of the photos are going to be of white people, and if you're there to fuck around and be assholes, they're going to take pictures of you, not the people who care about this stuff. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're going to go out and support people and you're able to, do it the right way, or else you're going to make everybody look bad way more than people of color, because they don't want to acknowledge that they have any kind of power or any kind of presence. They just want it to look like a bunch of white people acting like assholes. The same way Antifa is always shown to be a bunch of white people, because one, it makes white people look good to some people, and two, it makes white people look stupid to others. And that's all people care about. So, be somebody who is doing the right stuff if you're going to be there, and try to be physically close to people of color, and try to stand between them and the cops if you can, because it's more likely that you're, as the person who is being viewed predominantly, are not going to get fucked with, because they don't want that kind of heat still.
Yeah. And don't talk over people of color. Don't talk over other people at the protests, because that feels obvious. Don't do that. Don't talk over Black people sharing their experience there. I've seen a lot of videos of like younger, maybe, I don't know, teenage, younger people, younger white people, like spray painting and tagging stuff with BLM, and causing that kind of shit, and that doesn't help. So
Yeah.
if you're going there, yeah, I think we already said that. If you're going there to start shit, just don't, because you're not the person who's going to get blamed for it.
Also, street art rules are, unless you're paid for it, don't get caught. Don't go put something somewhere and let people see you do it. That's sort of the whole point of street art. You're supposed to be anonymous, or you're supposed to be paid for it. There's not many people that I think are probably going to take that advice who don't already know it, but yeah, just you're welcome. Like I fully support street art. I fully support vandalism, quite honestly. I just think that and you know, that's from being a shit kid as well. So it's probably just kind of stuck there, but if you're going to do that kind of stuff, be mindful of how people are going to take it, and also, you know, just be smart about it.
Oh, and sorry, I'm plugging in my laptop. It's about to die.
That's not good.
It's not good. Oh, one last thing while I'm giving like protest advice. What was I gonna say? Oh, just as a photography person who would like to document the stuff and be out there and take pictures, if you're gonna post any photos, remove people's faces from it. Don't blur it out, because that can be undone if people really want to. Just erase it from the photo and cover it with like a shape or something else.
Also,
and make sure
flatten your fucking layers.
Oh my god!
Like that stuff.
Thank you. Flatten your fucking layers. I think we just named today's episode "Flatten Your Fucking Layers." Do that and delete your EXIF data. Remove that stuff from your images, because they will find you.
Yep. Fun thing about modern times, they will find you.
They will find you.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if this is true or not, but it seems true based on the stuff I'm seeing. The tactic of using makeup instead of a mask, granted you should be wearing a mask no matter what, that doesn't really work on modern face recognition. So wear a mask. Unless you have like a makeup tactic that for sure works, that's just the only sure way to do it. So
yeah, it's a good idea anyway, given like pandemic and also like tear gas and stuff. Mask is probably the best way to go.
I have I've watched a decent amount of bad shit in the past. One thing I did want to mention that's off topic is we're almost done watching the current Tremors movies that are available.
Oh, yeah.
I know you've been busy, so you've missed the Tremors-ing on our like movie hangout nights, but those movies are pretty bad. Like I saw them before, but I saw them like as they happened, and except the first one, and I think the second one I saw when the third one was out on video, because I was definitely like in my teens, and I want to say the first one came out in like '89 or some shit. But people should watch those if they want something stupid to watch. It does a good job of kind of poking fun at like America in general, which is something that I appreciate at the moment.
Yeah. We
So,
deserve it forever.
uh, do you know who Jamie Kennedy is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. For people who know who Jamie Kennedy is, he's in the fifth one, so look forward to that. The evolution of Dirtbag really works out. Uh, but he plays basically a fake Eminem in a movie in Miami, I want to say, and
Oh,
it's bad.
that sounds like really, really something.
Uh-huh. Well, you get an idea of what era that's from.
Yeah.
Because as people might know, prior to the Venom movie soundtrack, Eminem had some credibility as an artist. Uh, have you heard the Venom movie soundtrack?
I have not.
Everybody needs to do themselves a favor and type Eminem Venom into YouTube and just enjoy it,
Oh
because it
no.
fucking sucks. It's like Limp Bizkit Gold Cobra level of just shitty music.
I mean, that's pretty up there.
Yeah. To reference something that's like 15 years old or something.
Ooh, okay, I'll have to enjoy this on my own time.
Uh-huh.
Looking forward to that.
Well, let's see. I have um, orange chicken that I'm planning to eat. It's from a bag that was bought 6 weeks or so ago. No, it was bought when the pandemic hit for actual rules. So it was bought the third week of March.
Oh boy.
So I have old orange chicken. I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to that. That's something that I appreciate in life right now. Um, I'm trying to eat it on the suggested serving sizes because despite walking around today and looking at a whole lot of jack shit and cops, not doing a ton of outdoor things, and I don't feel like leg lifts and yoga and things like that are gonna really trim anything down. So I don't really feel like slamming a whole bag of grocery store orange chicken. I do, but I shouldn't feel like it. Are you uking at your place? Are you getting your uke on?
Uh, ooh, that's very pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't recently, but I need to cut my nails again. They're too long to uke. I need to
Yeah,
cut them so I can uke some more.
I actually have to keep mine a little bit, not long, but like a little bit undercut because the difference between uh,
Yeah,
your tone is pretty good if you can use your actual
that's very
thumbnails.
nice. I like that.
I know it is a very good sounding thing. Now I have it fully tuned, so I can actually like play it the way I want to. See,
I like it.
uh, I'm getting better with it. I tried to do when it was tuned up. I did a virtual birthday recently, and I did the worst ever attempt at like just dry running happy birthday. Uh, but I feel like it was appropriately terrible. It was
Mm.
basically the like second grade why don't you do scales kind of experience of like uh wait like uh so that was good. That was a good
I'm
reminder.
excited. I think this means that we need to record a really terrible intro.
Yes, absolutely. Uh we just need to one of us has to do an initial recording and send it to the other, and then we have to do a second recording under it. and then keep going back and forth until we have a complicated enough sound for it to be an intro.
Mm-hmm.
I also have my guitar out because that's like my music is sort of a stress relief thing for me. So, and not like sitting in a park guitar music, but like stuff that's mostly unpleasant to hear, but I love doing it. I'm trained enough in music over the course of, I guess, like my whole life pretty much, that I can make music, but the music I make for myself sounds like not good. It sounds like independent work, let's say. And I do not sing, but I will sometimes just sort of make noises over it. So if you want to visualize in your head how annoying that would be to witness personally, there you go.
I'm visualizing it, and it's very good.
It's the kind of music you could play for a baby until they're old enough to where they start remembering things. That's what I like to think of it as.
And then just 20 years later, they'll be sitting in therapy like, what the fuck was that shit?
It's like, I can't quite remember it, but like there's some nightmarish thing happening while I was a kid. I don't think anything happened
I
to
just
me.
constantly felt like I was in danger, but I don't know why.
I just think about my early childhood and just there's tones happening.
Oh dear. Well, stay tuned for that wonderful intro at some point, I guess.
Yeah, that'll happen at some point.
Yeah.
Based on our ability to get things done, next week is our 30th episode, so it's not going to be that one.
Small golf clap for...
but I bet we could get it done. I'm going to say by our 50th. That's a long way from now. So there will be a theme.
I think that's a reasonable goal to set. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back with hopefully... I'm really hoping something comes of this other than people just being complete pieces of shit. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Remember not to feel like it's entirely your fault that things are like they are, because that's very easy to do if you're any sort of compassionate. But definitely consider the things in your life that would be beneficial to not do, and maybe use your saved up money for things that you like and not things that you need to put towards keeping people out of extremely dangerous situations like prison for non-white people.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think Black Lives Matter is a good place to start, but look for one that works for you.
Yep. I shared on Facebook this morning, and I'll probably figure out a way to share on our account too. But I found a list of bail funds that people can donate to by state.
Perfect.
So, yeah, we'll post that somewhere.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. Stay safe, everybody, and be gone, thoughts.
Yeah, pajabbers.